I'm Chris Sermus, Livestock World here in Illinois with the Champion Show Stock team. We've got Jordan Leatherman, Tim Brumbaugh, and Zach Gray. These three gentlemen have come together to put together an outstanding lineup of supplements that will help put your cattle, sheep, swine, and goats in the winner's circle. Jordan, can you tell us about your new product, Glide, that certainly seems to have already had lots of success within the swine industry?
Yeah, Glide's been a great product so far. Like I said, joint supplement, revolutionary. Gets that over 60% absorption rate in the bloodstream, which nobody else can match that absorption rate. You can't find that anywhere else. We've had winners at Denver, Houston, San Antonio, Oklahoma Youth Expo. Won quite a few majors and state fairs already, and we've had a great push so far this spring with tons of jackpot winners so far all across the Midwest. It seems to be a great product so far that we've had a lot of interest in, and continue to hope to push that product and do well with it.
Certainly. Obviously, Zach, I know Glide's been extremely successful for the swine industry. Obviously, I know you guys have utilized it at your operation for your cattle preparation. How do you expect Glide to be utilized and implemented as we get going towards the state fair season and the majors here this fall?
Well, as you know, there's a bunch of joint supplements out there on the market, and that was one I had to do a little research on, before I really dove into it. We try to compete as well as we can on the state and national level, but it has an awesome track record, starting, on uses in the horse arena, and then obviously been working up as far as some of the other species are concerned. We went ahead and got some cattle on it here this spring. We've had just really great results. As cattle have gone into the coolers, a lot of times they get a little stale. They can have some joint problems start to occur. And we've gotten every single one of my state fair competitors on it, and we've had nothing but great results so far.
Certainly. Obviously, Jordan, I know you're heading out to the World Pork Expo tomorrow out there in Iowa. Obviously, I know you guys will have product with you. You guys have a booth set up out there?
Yeah, we're planning on having booths set up and banners hung out everywhere. We got some representatives going to be out there promoting the product lines for us, and we have quite a few hogs going to be at the World Pork Expo on the product. We hope to have a few winners come back home and hang our hat on too when we get back.
Certainly. Obviously, Tim, I know that you're very well versed in the anti-pop product, which is obviously another new product that you guys are launching for the market now. If you don't mind, can you give us a little bit more information about what the anti-pop can do for those cattle exhibitors getting ready for state fairs this summer?
Honestly, it's ideal. Taking them straight out of the cooler, putting them on concrete. It's an all-natural product that will just really help give them the range of motion and the freedom in their joints, especially on those hocks and those ankles, as they maybe get stiffened up from standing and being on concrete for a week at a time, which they're just not used to. On those, especially those 1,200, 1,300 pound steers, it's just something that can really be utilized. That can really just help all around, get them around the ring and showing at their best.
Certainly. Obviously, you go to these state fairs, structure becomes probably the most important criteria. It seems like anymore these cattle have got to be able to move, and having that advantage seems to be something that everybody's trying to find. Obviously, Zach, I know you guys have sold lots of champions there at your program, and I'm just expecting, obviously, you guys will have all your exhibitors on anti-pop. Have you had any experience this spring for your own exhibitors on how anti-pop has worked along with Glide as you get ready for some of these jackpots?
Yeah, we've been trying to incorporate the both. Obviously, I think you can't go anymore without the use of a daily joint supplement, and Glide's worked really, really well for us. Like I say, the absorption is really what's been really working well. I think sometimes we throw a lot of different feed additives and a lot of supplements at the livestock as a whole, and sometimes we really don't know if it works or if it does, and that was one thing that when we came together, we made a pact that if we are going to promote it, it's got to be something that's really working well for us. It's something that we believe strongly in, and something that's going to go continue on and really do well as far as those exhibitors that are using it in the show ring. I think the really nice thing that anti-pop can really work in conjunction with is the Glide. There's obviously no withdrawal. It's all natural, and we know how, as Tim just mentioned, those trailer rides, being on concrete for long periods of time, can really take a toll on those. That's been something that I've been utilizing over the last couple of years, and we put some on it that, probably got to a point of being 1,400 pounds and questionable on joints. Had some issues with ankles cracking and, having some hocks that, have gotten a little straight. And I tell you what, it's really been something that's worked extremely, extremely well.
Obviously, I know we've sort of been talking about how these products work best maybe for some more of the terminal projects, but obviously I think we've talked that Glide along with Anti-Pop and even Juice, which we'll talk about here momentarily, they work just as well for the breeding side of the industry as well. I guess obviously, Jordan, I know you guys exhibit a lot of breeding guilds and so forth and have a breeding program there in Indiana. How has Glide been utilized more for your breeding side of the show ring?
We actually use Glide on our sows, just they're out on a cement lot and stuff, and we just every day just helps get them move around easier, get up and down easier. Even on the breeding gilts and things like that, or just hitting hogs in general, being on that concrete every day, it just helps them be more comfortable in their environment, get up and down. If a lot of people comment on that after using the product, the hogs just get up and go to their feeder easier every day and get up and get out and move a little bit better than they normally would, and so that's how we utilize that in that program as well.
Certainly, obviously, Zach, I guess you guys been utilizing Glide on some of those show heifers you guys have sold this year?
You bet. Yeah, I mean, it's been something that's been that they really, have took in really well. A lot of times, we'll throw a supplement on there, and sometimes they'll turn their nose up at it, but they've really gone after it, and it's been something that, like I say, we've been using not only on steers but on heifers, and something we've been trying to actually get in the hands of a couple guys that have some bulls out at Bull Stud. We know that it's imperative to try to keep them as good as we can on their feet and legs. We want to get as many jumps out of them as possible, and it's been something that's been huge as far as taking down any inflammation that them bulls have had, and really getting them to loosen up in their structure. And we all know that that's extremely imperative. So it's definitely safe on heifers. Utilizing it with the Anti-Pop is once again the same. And it's really nice to use some all-natural products and not really worry about some of the anti-inflammatories that have been used over the past years. That's some things that can, I think, really cause issues with getting stuff to cycle right, getting stuff to really settle. I'm a big believer at that point in time to really try to stay away from those products if you can, just because I think the all-natural ways is the route to go.
Certainly. Obviously, once again, Juice is a new product that you guys are launching here now for all major species, and certainly I know you've had a lot of success utilizing it for cattle you've sold in the past, Zach. Obviously, I know we've talked a little bit about how Juice came to be, but if you don't mind, tell us sort of how you've been working on this concoction for a few years and how you got it all tuned in to be so successful.
Well, I'll kind of put in a short synopsis, I guess. I was fortunate enough, when I was a little bigger and a little bit more athletic to play football in college, and at that point in time, there was a lot of my teammates, were on different supplements, trying to get stronger, trying to, get bigger, and try to maximize their athletic ability. So I started looking at it at that point in time of having family, and a couple families that were showing cattle of mine. That what could we do to potentially make that a use in livestock? Well, some of it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of time, a lot of years spent, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in the livestock world that have come up with different concoctions over the course of time. One thing that I thought was really imperative is when we bring our state fair steers in, we really have to shrink them back to our ideal weights, and then at that point in time we have certain weight restrictions to work within. And that's where Juice came about. We're just trying to, it can be used twofold for ones that might be a little stressed or dehydrated to kind of bring that bloom back to them, really kind of create that hydration in the muscle. And for those that, we might have to be worrying about weightbacks with. We all know that sometimes we can't just let them all the way back onto water. Same thing in the hog market. We have to be really conscious about what those weights need to be. And, with a lot of state fairs, national shows, Louisville, most of our state fairs are looking at, somewhere around a 5% weightback provision. And that's really where it came into play. It is nice when you can, pull them off water, maybe shrink them down a little bit, and just let them come back naturally with as much water as they want. That black and white steer we were talking a little bit about earlier behind the camera was one that had great success on it last August. It was one of the crowd favorites there at Indiana, and ended up being reserve grand. That steer ended up being over 40 pounds heavier on his way back than he'd ever been his entire life. just because all those glycogens had pushed to the muscle, all that hydration had held in that muscle mass, and it was huge as far as getting some top shape and some quarter shape.
Certainly, that steer was extremely popular in Indiana and very deserving of being reserve grade. Obviously, Tim, with Antipop, just once again, what is the best way to implement that program as far as utilizing it at the show? When would you recommend utilizing it and so forth when you're getting ready for show day?
Best, what we recommend is 48 hours before. It's a bolus form, strictly for cattle, and it will, you administer it through boluses and in 12-hour increments leading up to the show.
Obviously, certainly that seems to be a product, as we said, that works really well with Glide. Obviously, Jordan, what is your recommendation as far as getting swine ready or any other species is when you would like to get those animals on Glide?
We definitely start them out 60 to 90 days out from the show, just as a preventative as much as anything. You know, obviously we don't like going out and buying animals with structure problems, but as we know, when we're getting them out and exercising them every day, that can come evident in them when we're starting to put a little more muscle into these livestock. Those structure problems just come out, even if, you know, when you buy them as a prospect, they don't have structure problems necessarily, but those will come out. So we start them on early, definitely get them on it and as a preventative, especially when you're going, I know definitely on the hog side, when you start getting into a little paline and things like that, and you can pop a little muscle enhance into them. This will definitely help keep from those joints getting dried out and getting them stiff and straight. And so whenever you get on to a little higher protein program on any species, or even definitely on them hogs when you get into the paline program to pop that muscle at the end and get a little freshness and pop into them, definitely got to have them on this joint supplement just to keep everything right and going straight and keep from them joints getting dried out and stiff and straight on you. So definitely from a structure standpoint, it's second to none.
Certainly, and obviously, Zach, with your experience utilizing juice in particular, like that steer that was reserve granted the 2011 Indiana State Fair, when did you guys start administering juice, and when do you guys recommend exhibitors to put that in their show box to get those cattle ready?
Well, Chris, as we had been talking about, you know, it's been something that's been evolving over the last couple of years. You know, we really got it down to what we think the best results would be administering it over a 48-hour period. In a perfect world, you know, we try to get it them every 2 hours, you know, which, you know, can really be pushing the limits for some people. You know, but as much as we can get it divvied up over that course of time is what we're shooting for. You know, the last dose needs to be going in them a couple hours prior to show, and like I say, over those last 48 hours, been seeing some really good effects.
Right. Obviously, it seems like you guys have had success. Obviously, your program, they're great show cattle, and some of your families that have been exhibitors. As we said, Glide's been out there since the first year. I know you guys have had lots of success. If you don't mind, Jordan, can you expound a little about what Glide has done for some of your customers at this point in time?
We've had some rave reviews from some very high-profile customers of ours that have been out. We've had some breed champions at Houston as well as San Antonio. Definitely helped us on some hogs going to Denver there in the winter months when you may not be able to get them out and exercise them as much. So Denver, we had some breed champions as well in Fort Worth. Two very popular hog at Oklahoma Youth Expo that actually won the inaugural National Bear Show, National Bear Battle. The show right there puts on and wins that and goes in to be third overall at the Oklahoma Youth Expo as long as the champion Yorkshire Bear. They're that family, the Striker family from Oklahoma, has been on the product and been very rave reviews on the product there. Also some other high-profile customers as well. Just have guys calling in and just saying they've seen results so quickly there in that first 7 weeks first week that they've had that 7 days they've had it on them. They've seen improvement in their stock and they're calling, begging, you know, wanting more of it. So. Like I said, we've seen quite a bit of success on it at the national level, and we can continue that throughout the summer and into the state fair season, and then on to the fall for the majors, Royal and Louisville as well. So,
obviously, it seems like from what I've seen that Glide is certainly getting the job done. As we said, there's lots of competitors out there, but it appears that it may be a man amongst boys as far as joint supplements are concerned. With that being said, obviously, I know you guys have product available now. Obviously, check out championshowstock.com. As far as juice in particular, Zach, I know we've talked a little bit about it. I know you want to maybe stress that individuals might want to get that product early since it takes a little bit of time to produce, and certainly don't want to be left out for state fair season.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like I said, we've had really great demand for Glide across all species, and as far as the joint side of things, obviously anti-pop is one that, is going to be targeted for the cattle market for the most part. But to tie into your question there, I think that the juice can be used for not only cattle, but is going to be used in the swine world. We've seen some really good results, with some families that Jordan's been working with, and then we've introduced it to the meat goat arena, and then also for the sheep competitors out there. We've talked a lot amongst us and been working with some really high-profile guys in those industries, trying to get as much top shape, as much quarter shape as we possibly can, and we know that guys in those arenas have been looking for that for years. They've been working with a lot of different electrolytes, a lot of different products, trying to get that shape and try to get that swell in them. So, that being said, we've been starting to open it up to the public here. Like I say, jump on ChampionShowStock and .com and get some, because I think it will be pretty tight. It's taken us a long time to get that formulation right, and that being said, we've been moving it to some sheep guys, some goat guys, some swine guys, and I think that it's going to see some really good results for the state fair cattle that we have coming in. Not to take away from those that are using it even at a local level. If you get out at your county fair for a week long, once again, as Tim alluded with the anti-pop, that's something that they're on concrete or gravel there, and the same point they're dehydrated there, so. We hope not to have a shortage, but it is going to be pretty tight. So, get your orders in early.
Certainly. As we said, sitting here with Jordan Leatherman, Tim Brumbaugh, and Zach Gray, the guys behind ChampionShowStock, certainly a company that, from my point of view, certainly will be one that will be one to be watched for quite some time. They've got a great product line, obviously, with Glide, everyday joint supplement, juiced, a muscle shape enhancer, as well as anti-pop, a product that should be utilized along with Glide 48 hours out for show day. With that being said, certainly recommend their products. Having a chance to talk to these guys, it looks like they've done their homework, put a great lineup together. As we said, check out ChampionShowStock.com. These products, as Zach said, not only can help you win at the national level, but can help you win at every level. Be sure to utilize the ChampionShowStock product line at state fairs this summer, as well as the majors this fall. It certainly will help put you over the top and help bring home those purple banners.